exciting, everyone. Hold on. Oh, wow, I can see him. All right, I'm going to try to get us into position here so you can see this beautiful leopard. Oh, he's straight in front of me. He's lying down in the long grass. Have you got him this head? Is that all right? It's a bit difficult from here. Let's just see. Maybe Seb can zoom in on him a little bit for us. There we go. You can see, look how well camouflaged he is. There we go. Look at that. So this leopard is still here. Now, the reason why I think he is still here is because this leopard had a kill this morning. Now, this is very interesting because this leopard managed to kill a porcupine, which is very unusual. And I'm sure a lot of you know porcupine have got those long, sharp quills. And it's not easy to kill a porcupine. But this male leopard, this is a male leopard, not a young male leopard, it's got an old male leopard. A beautiful, beautiful big male. But just have a look at how well he blends into the long grass. That color, his coat, that beautiful, beautiful leopard coat. In the shade, it's very, very difficult to spot him. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm so glad I got to show all of you a leopard before you had to leave us. Isn't this amazing? You can see those ears twitching. Now, this is probably one of the most beautiful predators that we have in the area. Our leopards are mainly solitary, which means they mainly live alone. The only time you'll see leopards together is probably if a male meets a female, or when a female has got cubs. Then the female will look after the cubs for a little while. But this is a big male, so he prefers to stay by himself, and he will hunt by himself. And as he did last night, he managed to kill a porcupine. Well, Jordan, you asked, why do the leopards have spots? So, Jordan, if you look closely, that leopard's got spots, and those other little rings, I suppose you could call them, on the body, they are known as rosettes. That's what that pattern is known as, the rosettes on the leopard, and a few spots. And the main reason for that, Jordan, is for camouflage. So what happens is, in the shade, or in what we call the dappled light, the low light, then it makes it easier for them to disappear and hide away when they are trying to hunt some animals, potential prey like all the antelope species. They can hide away, and then it just makes it a bit easier for them to almost disappear in the long grass, shaded areas. Alright, well, everyone from Montrose Elementary, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We are going to say goodbye to you, though. The rest of the show will continue, and we're going to head over to James and the Mara, and I'm going to stay with the leopard. We are still sitting with this beautiful male leopard. It's a bit tricky to see him where we parked at the moment, but we will get a better position of him. His face is just directly behind that branch at the moment, so I can't move any further. But look at that, he's lifted his head for us. Wonderful to see this big male. Oh, wow, there we go. Let's see if he decides to... he may also just change positions and lie down again. Let's see. Oh, that's actually a great view of him. Now, this is the first time I've seen this leopard, so I'm very excited too. I haven't seen, this leopard's known as Mvula. I haven't seen Mvula before. I don't think so. Now, the kill is actually, we can see it glistening in the sun, just to the right. He's moving straight towards it now. Now, that's a porcupine that he killed last night. That's amazing. I mean, it's not an easy task to kill a porcupine, the largest rodent in Africa. Oh, there you can see the quills. Oh, fantastic. Let's see where he moves it to. It's probably just going to move it further into the shade there. This is amazing. This is such a great sighting. So the schools have left us now, but you can see again, I've been chatting to the schools about the camouflage and that, and you can see how this leopard disappears in the long grass at the moment. But we'll sit here patiently and we'll see what he gets up to. To be honest, I was just thinking, and I'm sure some of you might be thinking too, would he hoist it into a tree? Now, it's quite a small kill, so there might not be a need to hoist it into a tree. It's also, he's got a nice shady area here, so it's well hidden. So chances of him being harassed by other animals are probably unlikely. I doubt the scent will travel too far from here, but if he needs to, he has got a nice marula over here just behind me, and he can hoist it in there. Oh, isn't this wonderful? What a great little start to the show. Very lucky that we've got this leopard that's hung around here today. Now, sorry. Now, Morgan, you 8 years old. Hello, Morgan. You asked, how does the leopard catch something like a porcupine without getting hurt by the quills? Well, Morgan, the leopards are very, very fast and agile, which means they're quick and they can move very, very quickly when they are trying to hunt something like a snake or a porcupine. I mean, a snake is very fast and can strike, but a porcupine with those sharp quills, the leopard will try its best to get to the head. The head of the porcupine isn't well protected. Let me see if I can find you a picture of one. So I'll show you where the leopard would try to catch the porcupine, or how it would try to catch the porcupine. So the head or the belly, soft areas that are exposed. Let me show you. Here we go. My trusty mammal book. Have a look here. There we go, Morgan. You see that? So the head, you can see, is not protected by the quills. They're the sharp quills around there, and on the back, mainly on the back. Now, you can see the head is exposed and underneath very exposed, so that leopard will try its best to move very quickly, flip the porcupine and try to get to the head, and that way it can kill it. As long as it stays away from these quills, it won't necessarily get hurt. However, I have seen leopards with serious quill injuries, quills sticking in, not just leopards, lions too, porcupines sticking their quills into these predators, and sometimes it can cause some bad infections. But it looks like Mvula, I think, is quite an experienced leopard, so the chances of him getting hurt or injured by this porcupine, probably unlikely. He knows what to do. He's enjoying some of that at the moment, all that meat. See, and a lot of people think that the porcupines shoot their quills out if they are in danger or if they feel threatened, and that is not true. So they don't shoot the quills at all. What they do is they contract muscles in the skin, causes the quills to raise up, and they'll run backwards into the prey. So whatever's potentially trying to hunt them or harm them, they just run backwards, they reverse into the prey, and then those quills will stick out, and they actually come out of the skin of the porcupine very, very easily. James, you were asking if the quills stay around longer than what the bones do. Now, James, from what I've seen, I mean, porcupine quills, if you keep them, they basically don't perish. They don't fall apart or break or anything like that. So you can keep porcupine quills for for quite a long time. So probably longer than bones. Hang on, he's moving it again. So James, yeah, I suppose the quills would probably hang around a little bit longer than the bones, and also I don't know, I haven't ever seen animals eating the quills, but animals will eat the bone. However, James, in saying that, you do get bones, certain bones and that, especially larger bones, that will stay around for a very long time until they eventually get broken down. But the quills, a lot of the lodges and that in these areas, if they find quills on the ground, they'll collect them. It's beautiful decorative pieces that you can put on tables or around the lodges. So a lot of people do try to collect the porcupine quills. It's such a nice view of him. Now, it is so special to see a leopard. Now, actually, one of our Safari Live friends, is watching in another part of the world that they find leopards, all the way in Sri Lanka. And Avi Fonseca, it is his birthday today, and he's a guide too, so he finds leopards in another part of the world. Happy birthday, Avi. Hope you're having a great day from all of us at Safari Live. And Avi and his team were out here recently. They came and visited us too. But they track leopards and bears and all sorts of wildlife in Sri Lanka. Happy birthday, old boy. Hope he's having a great day. I'm definitely having a great afternoon. What a nice start. To be able to sit with a big male leopard like this is very, very special. Now, finally we've got some other guides out, and my friend Scott is out in the Mara at the moment. He's probably on a vehicle. Let's go say hi to Scott. Alright. And I'm just trying to reposition quickly. This leopard's moved into a tricky little area, so let's see if I can get another view of him quickly. Just hold on, this is going to be a bit tricky. See, you've got to multitask quite a lot out here while you drive and reposition vehicles and dodge tree stumps. And I think I might have a nice view of him from here. Sebo, you're right there. Is that okay? There we go. I think we've got a nice view. If he lies down again, we might lose a bit of a view of him. Oh, wow, look at that. That's lovely. There we go. So we'll just sit tight here again. And he was lying down a bit. So, this little section of long grass here is quite tricky to see him. But we've fortunately got a great view of him now. And he's feeding on that porcupine. Oh, this is really, really great. I haven't seen a porcupine in the Sabi Sands for quite some time. We see the tracks, especially on bushwalk, we do see the tracks, but because they're mainly nocturnal, it's not always easy to see them. Hang on. There's a pearl-spotted owl calling very close to us. I don't know if we'll be able to find it. I'll see if I can find it for us. But while we do that, let's head over to Tristan, Big Boss Man, who's out on drive in the Sabi Sands with me. Yeah, it looks like James has got some gremlins in the studio with him, but luckily we're still here and still sitting with this beautiful male leopard, Mvula, and he's still active, still busy feeding away at this porcupine. And it just shows you, often what happens with these leopards especially, if the temperature cools down a bit, they do get a bit active, and it's not that hot this afternoon. But also what they'll do is they'll keep the kill for a while and then rest and then get up and feed again when they are hungry. So luckily we've got a bit of activity from him now, which is great. And I did manage to find that pearl-spotted owl. It is still sitting in a tree, and I'll see if I can show it to you later. Unfortunately, the angle that we parked at now, there's a tree in front of Seb, so we can't get the camera on it. But I have spotted that little pearl-spotted owl that was calling earlier. It's sitting in looks like a large knobthorn, just at the top of the knobthorn. But hopefully I'll be able to show you that. We've had quite a bit of luck with the little owls at the moment. We had the Scops owl the other day. And Ali this morning, I think, had the Verreaux's eagle owl. I'm very jealous. I love seeing those Verreaux's eagle owl, or the giant eagle owl.
I did think about you.
Oh, you thought about me. Thank you, Seb. Now, I hope all of you are enjoying this leopard sighting as much as I am. James, leopards do hunt alone. They are generally solitary. The only time you'll see leopards together is if a male and female are potentially mating, or if a female has got cubs and she's looking after the cubs. But otherwise, leopards are solitary, and this male will be moving around by himself, and they do hunt by themselves. They're ambush predators. They stalk really close to their prey and launch themselves out at the last minute to try and catch something. So it's not always easy for a leopard, but they are very, very stealthy, very wise, cunning hunters. So it's a bit, it's not too difficult for them. But I'm sure this would have been an amazing battle to see between the porcupine and Mvula. It would have been very interesting. And we fortunately in such a lovely little position here now, we can sit and enjoy him quietly while he's feeding. And don't forget, everybody, we are completely live. So for those of you who've just joined us, if you want to know how to send your questions, #SafariLive is how you do it on Twitter, and send us your questions and comments about anything really, and we'll hopefully answer your questions for you. And luckily, we're sitting with this beautiful leopard. That little pill-spotted owl just started calling a bit again. So hopefully just now I'll be able to show you that owl. I hope it stays there. Right, let's. I'm going to sit around here a little bit longer. Such a nice sighting. Let's head back to Tristan and see where he's going and what his plan is on finding animals. He is indeed Tristan. Now there's been so much action going on, everyone, in terms of Mara with the crossings and that, and Tristan getting some elephant. We've been sitting very patiently with Mvula, and he's just finished feeding on, well, I wouldn't say finished, but he stopped feeding rather on this porcupine, and he decided to move closer to us. He moved right out into the open, probably about 4 meters or 3 meters from the vehicle, nice and close to us. You can see actually he's really, really close to us. He's very close. And he's got, must be honest, he's got beautiful eyes. Like I said, it's the first time I've seen this male leopard, but very, very pale eyes. It's wonderful to see him up close and personal. Thick neck, typical of a big male leopard. Quite a big head. Oh, he is beautiful. He is really beautiful. Wow, he's got piercing eyes. Now, Shiva, you asked how much can a leopard eat in a single day. Now, Shiva, it all depends. It depends on the size of the kill that they've got. It depends on how hungry they are. In this instance, I would assume that this leopard's probably only got about 2 or 3 kilograms of food. Maybe, so not that much. Sorry, I'm just having a look at this male, and it's really, really such a wonderful experience to be this close to a big male leopard. I never ever get tired of it, and really are so privileged that he feels so relaxed and comfortable with us, so close to him. So Shiva, it depends. You know, if they kill a large impala, for example, they can probably feed on quite a few kilograms of meat off the impala. But actually, if you listen carefully, you might hear some monkeys alarm calling. Now, I wonder if there isn't another leopard in this area, because they cannot see Mvula at all. That's almost impossible for them to see him. And they're calling. I'm just trying to think. So I wonder if there isn't another predator around, maybe some lions or possibly another leopard. We know Hosanna was walking through this area early this morning, so he's possibly around, and maybe those monkeys see him. We'll keep an eye out for him, but for now we'll just sit patiently and quietly with Mvula. Now let's quickly cross all the way back to the Masai Mara to Scott, who's managed to find another feline to show you. Well, Tristan, I am indeed still with Mvula. However, he decided to move a little bit, and I'm now stuck between a male leopard and a hard place. I cannot move out of here. There's no way of going forward at all. But, so, he's boxed us in. So we're going to have to sit here until he eventually decides to move, I think. We've had such a wonderful sighting of him. He's completely relaxed around the vehicle. The pearl-spotted owls are calling. And I still can't get over the beautiful eyes of this male leopard. Really spectacular. Oh, I just want him to look at us. Look at that. Oh, isn't that amazing? Mad Candy, you asked, will the cats always remember their family or siblings? They probably do, Mad Candy. Now, even though they're solitary, they will still recognize the scent of either offspring or parents. So they will still recognize the scent of the family members. Excuse me a second. Go ahead, Andrew, go ahead. It's just myself, Andrew. You can make your way straight in. Animals lying out in the open at the moment. Just calling one of the other guys in quickly so they can also come have a good view. So, Mad Candy, they would definitely recognize each other from their scent. That's how most animals recognize one another. And whether or not they tolerate each other is another thing. But I have seen, and usually it's the male leopards that don't tolerate other leopards around, but I have seen male leopards surprise us and tolerate their offspring and tolerate females, but generally if there's another male, then they wouldn't tolerate them at all. But if it's offspring or family, they potentially do tolerate them. Oh no, it looks like it's been such an amazing afternoon for everybody. So from elephant to leopard, and now we're going to go across to Scott with playful lion cubs. Oh, that's awesome, Scott. I'm so glad you had such a wonderful sighting with those lions. Now, we are still sitting with Mvula, and I'm hoping that he decides to move for us because we are still stuck. He's just turned his back on us though. But you can see that beautiful coat of his now. Really, really, he's got such a thick neck. I was saying to Sebastian, he's got a very, very thick neck. Ah, there we go. There we go. He's up. Thankfully, he may just change position slightly. Exactly. But luckily, he's moved a little bit further away from us, so we might be able to get out now. But isn't that such a wonderful view of him? He's decided to lie out in the open. We've spent an amazing afternoon with him, watching him feeding on a porcupine, and now just resting. He'll probably decide to start feeding again a little bit later, I'm sure. Kobe, at age 15, you asked if Mvula's spots will fade away as he gets older. So no, Kobe, they won't. They basically, that is his coat, so they won't fade away at all. You know what? Can you smell that? He actually just urinated. Sorry, Kobe. I'll get back to your question now. it smells exactly. Just have a look at the tail if you can get it, that bit of white. Is that not some foam made from the urine? I think it is. Can you see that? Is it not? It is, yeah. You see, it is. I could smell it immediately. So he laid down there and he urinated, and it does. It smells almost, we always mention it, but it does smell a little bit like that buttered popcorn when they do scent mark. But wow, you can smell it clearly now, hey Sebastian? It's amazing. So he just lay down and urinated. He's being a bit lazy now. But that urine has got a very, very strong smell. And it smells a bit like, as I said, buttered popcorn. I could smell it. And then I noticed that white foam over there from the urine. Wow, so that's interesting. But the very, very clear smell. Very. Oh, that's really interesting. Now, Kobe, you just having a look again at those spots, those rosettes, the beautiful pattern on the leopard. Now, they won't fade, they won't change. When they are younger, the spots and the rosettes aren't as clear, and as they get older, the clarity comes out a lot more. And I suppose you could say they grow into their spots almost. Well, those spots become a lot clearer, but they won't fade with age, not at all. JJ, you asked how much smaller leopards are compared to lions. Well, JJ, to give you an idea, a full-grown male leopard like this is about half the size of a lioness. Now, Mvula is a big male leopard, but an adult lioness could probably weigh around between 140 and 160 kilograms, and an adult male leopard like this is probably between 70 and 80 kilograms. So it's about half the size of a lioness. Now, a big male lion will get up to about 200, maybe 220 kilograms. So that's much larger. Now, if we're looking at pounds, leopard is about, call it 180 pounds, somewhere around there. And a lioness is probably closer to 300 pounds. Somewhere around there, 320, 340, 320, 340, somewhere around there. So that would be in pounds. And a big male lion will get over 400 pounds, a really big male. But they are still incredibly powerful. These leopards, I think pound for pound, a leopard must be one of the most powerful predators out here. They definitely are incredibly strong. And if you see them carry a carcass up into the tree, that is amazing. And punk rock and music, you ask, is there only one type of leopard in Africa? There's only this leopard. But not just this one. There's many different leopards around, but only the African leopard. However, in other parts of the world, there are leopards that occur. You get snow leopards. You get, I suppose, the jaguar falls under the leopard family, or they do fall under Panthera. The jaguar is just much larger. The jaguar is about the size of a lioness. You also get clouded leopards. What else? So there are different types of leopards around the world, but in Africa we only have this leopard. And they do occur just about all over Africa. Mountainous regions, thick forest areas, vast desert areas too. So you get leopards all over. One of the cats that are able to adapt to just about any terrain and area that they are in. It's really been a privilege to sit this close to this male leopard this afternoon, spend time with him and watch him. It's a really great first sighting for me of this male. I have not seen him before on Safari Live. don't... Alright, now I think what we're going to do is we're going to try leave Mvula, possibly go and see if we can find something else and give someone else a chance to come and view him. But what a wonderful sighting. We're going to head back to Tristan, see how his afternoon with the elephants have been going, and we'll see you shortly.